Greetings, Your Excellencies. How are we doing? I trust we're doing good. I'm Precious and I'm your host for the Peacemakers Hub. Today I have with me a very interesting personality. I have Dr. Chika Nya-Etok, and she's going to be sharing with us how factors such as media, technology, economy have affected the traditional concept of family and family life as we have it. I mean, this is a conversation to look forward to. I hope you would enjoy it as I did. Do enjoy and stay tuned. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Chica. Thank you so much for honoring our invite. It's good to have you here, ma.
Thank you very much, Precious. It's a pleasure and a privilege. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. I appreciate you. So we'll start off.
I
Ma,
appreciate
can we
you
meet?
too.
Can we meet?
Okay, so I'm Dr. Chika Nya-Etok, born nearly 56 years ago
Wow.
to Sir Cyril and Lady Catherine Ononiwu from Mberi in Imo State. They were both pioneer graduates of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I'm the second of 4 children. I studied medicine at University of Nigeria also and graduated in 1987 at the age of 21.
Oh my God.
Yes. So while I was at UNM studying medicine, I met a young man from Ikodepene in Akwa Ibom State who was studying architecture, who later became my husband, architect Ezekiel Nya-Etok. So after my studies, my medicine studies, I did the usual housemanship at Hospital Yaba, Lagos, served NYSC at Airport Authority Clinic in Lagos too, and then started to practice as a primary care physician in the private hospital, where I worked for about 7 years and covering general medical practice and also doing occupational health practice, because the hospital I worked for was retained by a lot of companies. So we had to go to their factories to go and do occupational health work. When I left there, I went to University of Lagos, where I did a master's in public health in 1999, and subsequently started working in the corporate health sector with what was then known as National Oil and Chemical Marketing Company. I was a company medical officer there. And from there, I moved to Unilever, Nigeria, where I became their country medical advisor. What else?
I mean, I was going to say your resume is very rich. Your resume is very rich.
Yeah, thank you.
The pleasure meeting you again.
So let me just summarize and bring us up to date to where I am now today. Family commitment made me to resign from Unilever, where I was the country medical advisor, and set up my own company called Healthwise Concepts, which I have been running from then till now. And Healthwise Concepts is involved with health promotion, consultancy, and training services for healthcare professionals. And we have clients that include WHO, Federal Ministry of Health, and so on and so forth. Trained and certified as a counselor by the Institute of Counseling, Glasgow in UK, and also trained and certified by the Trauma Healing Institute of the American Bible Society in Bible-based trauma healing. Of course, you know, I'm inducted as a member of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators. That was in 2017. And I like to call myself the first and only medical mediator in the FCT. So obviously I'm married. I have 3 grown-up children and I have a 4-year-old grandson.
Wow.
Yes.
I had you say something like family commitment was one of the reasons why you had to stop your job at Unilever and then set up your own private practice.
Yes. Yes, you are right.
Could you want to emphasize, you might not be as detailed, but just give us some, what would such kind of commitment mean?
Okay, so I was a country medical advisor of Unilever. My office was in Lagos at their headquarters, even though I was overseeing the factories they had in Ogun State, Agbara, and in Aba, as well as the one in Lagos. But my husband moved back to his state, Akwa Ibom State, at the time, because he wanted to run for governorship, the 2007 governorship. And he requested that I moved along with him. So that was the commitment. It was a very tough and difficult decision to take because it was a very high profile job, but one took it at the time. Yes.
I think we're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to this point. We started this series on family and family life last week, and we had Nya-Etok come on set to, start off the series with us. And when I asked, she's been like a family law lawyer for some 15 years. So I asked her to define the concept of family. And one of the things she said, in defining family, she essentially said family is a group of people who identify themselves as a family. That is, once you identify yourself with a particular person or saying that, what, this is my family, then that is your family. And, as I'm a lawyer too, and I tried to poke that definition. Okay, what would then happen to some of our inheritance laws or issues of child's rights and all that stuff? And she said, in the light of modern day reality, that is the too many things that is happening in our society, the society is constantly evolving. We can't limit the scope of our definition to a monogamous kind of setting or a polygamous, or the traditional concept of family the traditional concept of family. So my question to you is, what's the impact of media, technology? You mentioned something about economy. You having to make the decision of stopping your job and having to join your husband in his political pursuit and all of that stuff. What's the impact of this concept, that is the factors such as media, technology, economy? What's the impact on the concept of family? What's the impact on individuals and families? Yes, that's the question.
Well, media and technology, I don't know, I wouldn't join issues with lawyers when it comes to definitions. but my understanding of a family is people who are related by blood or by marriage. But people have also said that sometimes a friend that is close may be better than a brother that is far away. So you can have a friend who becomes family by virtue of the relationship. So back to the question, media and technology and all of that definitely have an effect on families because, it used to be long ago, before we had the internet and global access to it, that you brought up your children, father and mother, and maybe the extended family, uncles and aunties, grandparents and all that. And they imbibed the values that you taught them. And so they grew up to be like you in terms of sharing your values largely. But that has been seriously challenged by technology and by media today, because you find that in many families, especially the well-to-do families where they can afford to buy phones and laptops for the children, the parents barely have any influence on the values of the children. You have children who grow up in families and they are brought up by the internet. And the parents can barely even recognize them, can barely even understand what their values are. They are so totally different from what the values of the parents are. So it's very challenging. You have to be very intentional as parents to control the access that children have, and also to give time, very intentionally give time, spend time with your children, and impart to them the necessary values that they need as they grow up, to become useful members of society.
I mean, I like the bit where you talked about intentionality, because whether we like it or not, these things have come to stay. Technology have come to stay, and it's evolving. Technology has come to stay.
And the truth is that they are useful too. They are useful in certain ways. I mean, it's by virtue of technology we're having this discussion. So they have positive value that they bring in, yes. But you then, just like every other thing, you can use a car to take you from one place to the other, but you can also use a car to kill someone. So you have to be intentional to know how you use it, how you apply it, so that it's useful to you and not damaging or harmful to the family.
Thank you. I mean, I'm still emphasizing on the bit of intentionality,
yes,
particularly in terms of values, in terms of, maintaining the, would I say, status quo, or upholding the principles of a family. There was something, the guest we had last week, there was something she stated that when we begin to have dysfunctional families, when there is a breakdown in communication, when there is when families refuse to honor their rules, maybe one person or a group of people in the family dishonors or begins to dishonor the rule guiding the family. But when we then have things like media, technology, and like you said, there's just everybody is, I mean, you can't even recognize your child because he or she has been raised by something else. Then what rules are there to honor? There'll be just too many things causing more confusion, everybody trying to take on different identities, and at the end of the day, it's like a house against itself, because truly, if you don't stand for anything, I mean, I think a family should stand for something. So if you're not standing for anything, you definitely will fall for everything, and everybody comes with their own. Yes.
Yeah, like they say, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Yes. So I mean, I think that is very important, and in as much as we have all of the whole technology, we have media, we can't deny all that intentionality as to these things have come to stay, but we need to do something.
Yeah. Yes, we have to be very intentional about parenting and about passing on values. I take my faith very, very seriously, and the Bible is my focal point. And you would find that in the Bible, people who were intentional about parenting. He said somewhere in Genesis about Abraham that I'm not going to hide from, teach his children to fear me. So you have to be intentional about passing on values, passing on faith. A lot of us as parents, we take time and plan how we'll make money, the kind of schools we want our children to go to, maybe Ivy League universities, or we plan for annual holidays abroad, or we have all these great plans, or we plan for they must have Christmas clothes every December, all the kind of cars we want to drive, etc., the kind of houses, the kind of neighborhoods we want to live in. But we need to be intentional about the kind of adults we want our children to grow up to become. And it's something that many of us don't think about. We take it for granted that if our children go to certain kinds of schools and wear certain kinds of clothes and associate with certain kinds of class of people, then invariably they are going to be great members of society. And it doesn't follow. So we just assume and we plan for those. So we have to be very intentional about transferring values, transferring standards, transferring things like kindness, transferring things like courage, transferring things like faith, empathy, hard work, commitment, values that stand the test of time. Whether you're rich or you're poor, they're useful where you are. Whatever you choose to become by way of profession, it doesn't matter. These are values that you will need. And these are things that will stand you in good stead in society. So intentionality, I'm agreeing with you about the point about intentionality, but I'm focusing it now on being intentional about values, about faith, about becoming members of society that are useful to other members and build up that society. Values like honesty, you know, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Ma. That was really insightful. That was really insightful.
Wow. I'm sure you would agree with me that it was an interesting session with Dr. Chika. I mean, for me, one of the highlights was her emphasis on the durability of values and our intentionality at transferring or passing it on. I mean, these standards of values are things that cut across everyone, regardless of gender, regardless of race, regardless of creed. I mean, it doesn't matter what you identify yourself as, but this cuts across everybody. I mean, if you're kind, you're kind. If you're courageous, you're courageous. So yes, let's be intentional about passing these values. Let's be intentional about transferring it. They are transferable, and let's be intentional about transferring it. Thank you. I hope you join us next week as we continue with Dr. Chika Nya-Etok. Thank you. Mediation Training Institute is registered in Nigeria with a vision to create a new African order where peace and harmonious coexistence will thrive, where divisive national frontiers and the burden of military spending and man-studied inhumanity to man will be things of the past. We do this by providing requisite skills and resources for managing differences, for promoting peace and harmonious coexistence at home, at work, and in the society at large, through conflict management and mediation skills training and the promotion of mediation and other non-adversarial methods of dispute resolution in private and public sector practice. For enquiries, you can call 091-563-11242 or 080-3111-5115, or you can visit our social media pages, Mediation Training Institute, Facebook and LinkedIn at Mediation MTI, Twitter at MTI Nigeria, Instagram, Mediation Training Institute, building peace, creating harmony, sustaining relationships.